Do you guys like indie games? How about indie horror games? Even Earthbound inspired indie games that are an allegory for depression? Me neither. Well, not normally. Somehow I tend to find myself under the spell of these kinds of games. Undertale, Deltarune, Celeste, Lisa the Painful, so on and so forth. All these games are great, and some of them have managed to attain legendary status. Whenever I hear this meme regarding the Earthbound-inspired indie game about depression, Omori is the first to pop into my mind. It has all the hallmarks for this exact description. Admittedly, this is yet another game I saw and was like, hell nah. I had seen the primary aesthetic and noticed it had the psychological horror tag on Steam. This immediately piqued my interest due to the blatant juxtaposition, so I decided to give it a shot. Upon diving into this game, I was met with charm, horror, depression, and damn good gameplay. It takes these elements that you would associate with an Earthbound-like depression simulator and excels at all of them. I'm sure you want to know if what I'm saying is even true. Could it be that we're wrong about this classification of indie games? Well, no better way to find out than by jumping right into this thing. Be warned that I will be going over the entirety of the game. Major spoilers will be talked about. I will also give a warning regarding the subject matter. This game goes over themes of depression, murder, and suicide. If this is too much, then I'd say skip the last quarter of this video or do not proceed at all. These are the only verbal warnings I will give. That said, if spoilers are the only problem, then play the game before proceeding and come back to see how my experience went. We start with a cutscene of a kid crying and another one consoling him, immediately living up to the depression part of the title. We then wake up to another beautiful day in white space. I got all the instruments a young boy needs to occupy their time. Tissues, a laptop, a sketchbook with creepy odd drawings, and a cat. We eventually hear a noise and I go to investigate. A shiny knife? Okay. Well, looks like I may need that with these evil ass red hands teleporting me. Gotta stay strapped, even in your mind. I go through this door and we are introduced to our cohorts. Hiro, Kel, and Aubrey. They were playing an intense game of poker, and I was even offered to join in, though it seems Aubrey messed up the momentum and that Kel was absolutely swindling these fools. Way to go, Kel. This area would be the second entrance after white space, an intermediary between hen emptying no thoughts and us going full-blown schizo with our imagination. Look around, maybe you'll find some references to things, or even this. A stuffed toy in a melon. Who needs boxes when you can shove things into a fat-ass watermelon? I speak with Aubrey and it seems that toy was hers. She even just snatches it out of my hand. Rude. Turns out Kel punted her stuffed toy and it popped into this watermelon. He hid the toy since Aubrey made fun of the mole on his ass, which he seems very embarrassed about. Hiro goes in as the mediator to settle these two's bickering. This little intro is really good. Right away you can see the dynamic between the main cast. It's nice to have such identifiable tropes from the get-go. That way you can see how they're pushed and explored as the story continues. Anyways, enough about that. I greet this thrilling snake and then head up the rainbow stairs. Can't leave without my friends? Fair enough. Seems Mari and Basil want to have a picnic. Shoot, you know me, baby. I love me some free food. Before I can go, the thrilling snake gives me 50 clams. I wasn't familiar with your game, snake. Apologies. We hop out of the stump, get another little scene, and into the forest maze we go. I'm afraid of heights? Damn it. Well, okay. Looks like the right way is no good. Let's see about the left. Afraid of spiders? Man, the left way sucks too. Why would I be afraid of some stinky spiders when I got a knife? Oh well. I head south and see the playground. Lots of kids here. I wonder where... Ah, there. This is Mari and Basil. Mari is like the mom of the group, a compliment to Hiro who is like the dad, which is no coincidence since they are dating. Basil here is a shy young lad that is a photographer. He only takes candid photos to capture the little moments of life. He's destined to be a family vlogger at this rate, but let's pray it doesn't evolve past the photography. I'm going to go off on a little tangent here and point out something personal. I have been playing guitar, bass, and sax for a little over 19 years, so I'm always dissecting music as I hear it, so I tend to appreciate and learn the soundtracks that I really like. I bring this up because I am unsure if it's just the way Mari's theme tickles my ear, me knowing the whole context involving her, or what. This song always hits my soft spot. I might just be a sentimental sap, I don't know, but I wanted to mention this. The entirety of the soundtrack is stellar, but this and a few others are very much standouts. As a result, I'm going to be playing my cover of By Your Side throughout this video, so keep an ear out for this. The music aside, we got a photo album to check out. In this album, we get to see the whole gang just having a wonderful time, enjoying one another's presence. It's really nice. It seems even Hiro is trying to impress Mari in this picture. If Hiro wanted to really wow her, he needs a Labubu and some Dubai chocolate. After looking through the photos, Basil says he's got some sprouts he has been messing with and wants to show us. Shoot, why not? Might as well go over and see how much of a green thumb my boy has. Mari says she'll be sitting out this sprout visit, but introduces us to how we can save. Whenever we come across a picnic setup, we should be able to save at the baskets and get a full restore from the refreshments. So we'll want to keep an eye out for this as often as possible. That said, let's go meet the kids at the playground before we visit the mighty basil sprouts. I head over to Beryl and I'm told she has big plans. Whatever, she meant stay in place for her big plans. But Hiro, Aubrey, and Kel seems like they would rather go to Basil's due to something occurring last time. Basil says it's cool, and then Beryl mentions someone named Boss being banned from the playground, and that Beryl is not as bad as them. Not many people get to earn the restriction of being banned from a playground, so I don't want to know. Beryl then lines all the kids up as if we're about to be executed via firing squad. We draw straws, and wouldn't you know it, I got the shortest straw. Hiro, Kel, Aubrey, and Basil try to save me from my destiny, but it'll be okay. The Pied Piper has his hand extended with the Mistress of Destiny next to him. I cannot avoid my fate of being it. I count at the tether and begin my hunt. Kel is basically right there to help me out. What a pal. Aubrey also didn't really hide all that well. I wonder if she was looking out for me too. Hiro got roped into doing an exercise routine. Turns out he has a hard time telling people no. Everyone else was easy as hell to catch. Afterwards, Beryl makes us do a roll call. Everyone seems to be... Wait, where's Basil? Oh no. Boss took Basil. This is no good. We have to... Body slamming? Is that what got him banned? Thank God. I was very concerned for a second there. Whew. We have to get our buddy back. And Boss knocking Basil's flower crown off will not do at all. When you start combat, you can either fight or run. If you choose to fight, then you have 4 more actions. These being attack, skill, snack, and toy. We also have 4 party members right from the get-go, which is very unusual for turn-based combat games. You may also have noticed that everyone has neutral above their heads. This is where the combat of the game gets interesting. There are 3 emotions to work with and 3 stages to them. You can make your enemies emotional or your teammates emotional. Where the intrigue happens is with the strengths, weaknesses, and unique attributes each emotion presents. Sadness gives you better defense, lower speed, and HP damage now splits with stamina damage. Sadness is strong against happiness and weak against anger. Happiness has higher luck, speed, and a lower hit rate. It's weak against sadness but strong against anger. Anger has higher attack and lower defense. It's also strong against sadness and weak against happiness. The game provides this nifty chart to describe all of this. I almost forgot. Being neutral means you are neutral. Nothing is strong against you or weak, and your stats are neutral. An additional thing to keep in mind is that 3 of the 4 characters have an emotion they can give. Omori can make people sad, Aubrey makes people happy, Kel makes people angry, and Hiro can't give emotions, but he cooks to heal people and massages them to bring them back to neutral. All that out of the way, this isn't a hard fight or anything. We aren't playing Shin Megami Tensei 3 after all, so don't expect to die in a tutorial fight. Even if Boss does a scary ass body slam move that turns my whole gang into toast. Well, except me. I do not succumb. I guess I'm just built different. After the fight, Boss wants a rematch, but I'm afraid I cannot abide. Aubrey gives our king back his crown and Basil saw right through Boss. He lifts the ban after stating that Boss was making sure that Basil wasn't going to get hurt. Boss then puts his tree costume back on and we finally move forth to Basil's house. Right before I leave the playground, this mailbox beckons me to come over. I do, and it seems he's a merchant. As we head to Basil's place, we come across various flowers and he tells us some of their lore and who they remind him of. Very thoughtful guy. Of course, on our way, we come across an evil lost mole sprout stomping on some flowers. He then proceeds to attack us. The audacity. I put its little ass back in his place and continued on. Of course, we come across 2 more sprout moles. This whole sequence is an intro to how emotions affect things. This is where you get the chart for it too. Something to keep in mind is that you could take yourself and enemies out of emotions through items, waiting, or with a hero massage. Depending on how deep in the emotion they are stage-wise will dictate how long it will take turn-wise for friend or foe to get out of their current emotional state. Eventually, we come across another Mari picnic. Partaking in the refreshments can sometimes yield special scenes, depending on where and when they are done. So I'd say do it. Having extra interactions between the main cast is always nice in games like these. Moving along, we arrive at Basil's house, but this old big-ass sprout mole is banging against his entrance. The sheer disrespect. How dare he do this to my king's private domicile? For his transgressions, this old sprout mole will suffer a vicious beating. In this fight, we come across the last combat mechanic. The new meter at the bottom is how we can do follow-ups. In tandem to our normal actions in combat, we have these bubbles that pop up on characters as they are performing said actions. This will allow them to do an action with one another. These cost 3 energy, but a full-on attack costs 10. In order to regain energy, you can either use items or you can take damage. Each character has a unique follow-up, and the follow-ups are even more unique depending on who they do it with and who initiates what. Some will do damage, emotions, healing, and lowering stats. Of course, all of these things have 3 stages over the course of the game, meaning this stuff can get a little complicated. Though, as is the case with many things, once you get it down or develop a rhythm, you'll be fine. After all of that tutorial, finally, the real game begins. Also, Basil must be a European gnome or something. Why does he live in a big ass shoe? A little scene plays out where we see ourselves being nonchalant. What can I say? Then of course, Kel and Aubrey act very chalant and knock our boy over. We then collect the photos and head inside to help Basil put them back. I swear, can't take these two anywhere. Once we put the pictures back, Kel and Aubrey apologize. Sort of. Basil then notices a picture on the ground. He starts tweaking and then we're back in white space. The hell was that all about? And there's no door here? The sketchbook doesn't have much, except a new sketch? The cat doesn't do much, nor do the tissues. Let's see if the laptop does. Nothing. This is no good. After talking with the cat again, he says there is a way out, but I don't see anything. Stab? Myself? Might as well, I guess. Nothing better to do. I do that and then get a cutscene of Basil and I then snap back to reality. Damn it, I already miss Headspace. I then listen to the voicemail on the phone, and what a horrible mother. You're telling me that you left your son, who is extremely depressed, home by himself as you prepare the new home you both are moving to, and to top it off, you didn't even tell the electric company not to shut the lights off yet? How neglectful. There's nothing I can do now, and I'm hungry. Better get some grub and head back to sleep. But I shall explore up here first. I come across an empty picnic basket in my mom's room and then admire my physique in the mirror. Well, let's get some food. Or so I thought. Seems I'm too scared to go down the stairs. Happens to the best of us. Who knows what kind of evil creepypasta villains may be down there. Might as well go back to sleep. I then reawake to a dark and twisted house. I mean, look at that red light. The doors are all locked and the stairs seem much longer than before. Something is not right. Well, my stomach won't be filled standing here. Let's go. I head down the world's longest staircase and why are there hands all over the place? Hey, my knife. A photorealistic hand. I see. And it initiates an inexplicable thing trying to defeat me? As you can see, I'm afraid. A fourth emotion that is often only in reality, but is rare in Headspace. Man, this says a lot about society. I try attacking it, but nothing works. It just keeps shoving me, but a mysterious voice tells me to remember how to be nonchalant. I then calm down and remember how cringe it is to show emotions. Luckily, aura farming was the answer, as that thing goes away and my stares return back to normal. I grab a first aid kit, try going in this room, then head through this bottom doorway. I head to the fridge and microwave a well-done steak. No wonder I'm depressed. Also, didn't my mom say the lights were going to be cut off? How is my microwave and fridge working? Whatever. Much to my dismay, I eat the steak. Big mistake since I threw it up. I don't know what I expected with the microwaved well-done steak. I head to my room, hear a knock at the door. Yeah, I'm not answering that. I don't care who it is. It is 3 a.m. and it's more than likely an evil demon. I go to bed and all is well. I awake to being in white space again. Not much is different except for this hangman game on my laptop telling me to find keyboard letters. I also received a map for Headspace. With that, I go through the door and we return to Delululand. Upon arriving, Kel and Aubrey seem not to know where our boy Basil is, and Hiro says Mari is worried about me. What the hell happened since I've been in reality? Well, we better find out. The snake blesses me up with 200 clams, and I make my way up the stairs. I collect my first keyboard letter and go to the playground. Mari greets us, and it seems Kel, Aubrey, and Hiro despawned and then respawned elsewhere, as they have no clue what led them to waking up at quote-unquote neighbor's house, which is the nickname of the place that we've been spawning in at. That aside, our new goal is to find Basil, so we head down to his shoe house. Anytime you come into Headspace, make damn sure you water the flowers. Try not to miss it. We go inside Basil's house and the hell is that? Isn't that my sketch? After making note of Basil being gone and there being no trace of him, we decide we should look around the vast forest to find our boy. Once arriving, my man Kel uses his pet rock Hector to help. Despite Hector's best effort, he is but a rock, though I have a strange feeling he will become a boon. After exploring a little, I eventually make my way to this train station with quite an assortment of characters, including this little guy named Leafy. He hates bunnies and requests I slime 5 of them. I can understand since bunnies eat leaves. I will avenge your people, Leafy. While here, I come across this guy and give him 5 clams. He's a dog musician and seems awfully familiar. I head out into the vast forest, perform war crimes by genociding the bunnies, and come back to Leafy. He gives me a cotton ball and tells me to kill 19 more. If you say so, man. Something to keep in mind is that you will not get quest markers. You just have to remember the NPC who gave you the quest, where it was, and what it was. They aren't super important, but rewards are always nice. We then head deeper into the forest until we come to the idea of visiting Mari since we cannot find Basil. Before I head back to Mari, I explore some more and come across a wise rock. I pay him 30 clams for some good advice. He tells me that pain doesn't last forever. Bewildered, I figure maybe he would tell me something better if I paid 30 more clams. I was yet again a fool. He tells me that life is short and to smile while I still have teeth. This wise-ass rock. I swear, if only I had a chisel. Having left the cave of swindling, I then look around a little more before realizing I should go back to the playground. Here, I take on 2 additional tasks. First, Daisy wants me to find a flower puzzle so she can give it to Neb. Second, Beryl wants me to help find her tether ball. Seems old Van is too strong and set the ball flying when he used his arms. He can't really leave either since he quells all the mishaps here at the playground with the other kids. He entrusts Beryl to us, and Beryl insists we will be wowed by her headbutting, thus joining our party. We'll see about that. I talk with Mari and Kel says we should go up this super tall ass ladder. Aubrey, being understanding of my fear, suggests maybe not, but what if Basil is up there? With that, everyone agrees we should go up there and everyone hypes me up. Yeah, you guys are right. Being afraid of heights is something I'll get over. I can't be nonchalant with the fear of heights, you know? After having my pals be there for me, I head back into the vast forest to find Beryl's ball. Can't be dragging Beryl everywhere as we look for Basil after all. I head into the pinwheel forest and go into this alcove. That sketch creature is back. It's chilling by this tire swing and I can't even use it. This is a travesty. Perhaps that sketch is using its evil powers to prevent me from having fun. Anyways, I came across another alcove and this one has a shadow dog. I pet it and obtain a cherry soda. I knew this dog would be chill. Upon more exploration, I find my second letter key in this Silent Hill ass dock. Finally, after some more exploration, I find Beryl's tetherball and bring her back to the playground. In return, Beryl teaches Aubrey how to headbutt. She is now a certified headbutter. We even get the butt certificate. Nice. It deals a little damage to Aubrey, but it scales with her anger. It may come in handy, who knows. With that, I continue my bunny genocide and reach the 19 requested by Leafy. I kill the requested amount totaling 26, and I get the bunny ears. Next prize at 50 bunnies killed total? Alright, let's do this. Whew, that was a lot of killing. I have now obtained all 3 charms you can get from this little side quest. The rewards being the cotton ball, bunny ears, and rabbit foot. The cotton ball gives +1 defense and +3 speed. The bunny ears gives +3 defense and +12 speed. And finally, the rabbit foot gives +15 speed and +10 luck. If you ask me, these are some pretty damn good early game charms for just farming some easy as hell enemies. So if you have the patience, do it. Now that my bunny genocide is momentarily over, I can go up that big ass ladder I mentioned earlier to see where Basil is. Hopefully all this side questing and exploration doesn't net us a dead Basil. Of course, I head to the pinwheel forest ladder. Wrong one. Silly me for not recognizing the differences of the super long ass vast forest ladders. I then head to the true ladder, which also happens to have pinwheels. I knew I wasn't crazy. Hero, Kel, and Aubrey encouraged me to go up this big ladder, so I do. The evil hands go away, and just like how I randomly stopped pissing my bed at 15, I'm no longer afraid of heights. As we climb this ladder, Kel realizes our most important fellow is lost. Hector is with us no more. Knowing how capable Hector is, I'm sure he'll be fine. However, his presence being missing will be a mental burden we all have to carry. Continuing on, that snake is here. He even says, what a thrill. MGS3 has solidified that games are not allowed to have long-ass ladders without comparison. For good reason too, but either way, after hearing the fine vocal stylings of Cynthia Harrell, we finally get to the top. Kel plants Aubrey's butt certificate as a flag on this moon-like place and off we go. Going west, I come across this duck who is blocking the way, who is in search of a donut. Okay, well I suppose I shouldn't interrupt. Going north, we are now in Otherworld, a cozy little space place that'll put a smile on your face at a quick pace. Exploring around, I come across a quest giver named Mr. Ducky. Apparently he is looking for his son who looks like him. Maybe he's referring to the donut duck? I then headed back to where the donut duck was and he moved. I went upwards and saw a crow. He's just chilling, messing with the dirt. Moving along, this scarecrow requests that we help him retrieve his 3 crow friends. Luckily for us both, I already know one's location. I head back and I need to be someone more charming? Arrogant little shit. What the hell do you mean I'm not charming enough? Whatever, can't do much now I guess. I find the other crow and the same thing. I'm just not charming enough. Seems I put a 1 in charisma. I have to build out better next time. I then find the donut duck. He is not the one Mr. Ducky was looking for. I find the donut in a melon, but the donut duck doesn't say anything, nor can I give it to him. He will forevermore be donutless. A tragic fate. I locate the final crow and wouldn't you know it, I'm too much of a depressing sap. Go figures. Whatever. I'm going down this hole. It seems like this is a sprout mole colony. Most of its members went to the forest sprout moles, but it's cool to see the remainder of the space moles. Not much else down here besides the items, but I like it. Think they let me move in? Moving along, I come across this area. I fight these Kingsfield-ass plants and find a message in a bottle. That pun burns the essence of my being. I then come across a moonwalk dance floor and the suspicious door needing a password. We'll come back to this later. I never do. Moving even more west results in us making our way back to the Otherworld campsite. Also, this big-ass thing. Maybe I should disturb him. I do so, and I fuck him up. The fight is not by any means hard. I feel like you'd have to deliberately play like a dummy to get beat by this jacked planet guy. After showing him a good time, he flies off. Maybe he was the planet that scared the crows. I continue to explore the campsite and come across this girl. She claims she is an ultimate fan of someone named Sweetheart, and a stalker it seems. Also, this soundtrack is annoying. That ostinato is gonna drive me nuts. I gotta get out of here. I head out and find out about the joys of recycling. Man, this is tedious. At least it gives me clams and these seer goggles. Nice. Moving to the east, this guy's continuously in my way. This is too real, man. Going further, I found Ducky Jr. Seems Ducky Sr. was correct about them looking alike. I sent Ducky Jr. back to his family and we will check on them later. I then come across these traffic cones and go through them one at a time. In the middle is this sprout mole. He laid these traffic cones out to isolate himself from society, and I broke them all. As a result, I helped him put them all back, and then checked on Ducky Jr. His family is apparently vacationing here, and Ducky Jr. keeps running off. For my troubles, they gave me a dandelion. Sweet. Well, I suppose I need to check on the pirate fellow to the north. So I do. Seems this guy and his co-workers are starting to get sick of Space Boyfriend, the fellow who commands them. So much so that some of the crew have already rebelled and taken Space Boyfriend's ship and left. Looks like we'll have to talk with our boy since he seems depressed. We head inside and find him bed rotting. Classic. As it turns out, Space Boyfriend's girlfriend is Sweetheart. You know, the pink-haired thing? One of the crew members tells us we need to find the discarded special mixtape so that Space Boyfriend can wake up not angry. Sure, whatever. Maybe this guy can help us locate Basil and or Hector. With this, I agree to help this sad sack and head to the junkyard. We go through the super secret backdoor entrance from Space Boyfriend's room. This is where I decided to disturb the Earth. Admittedly, I wasn't expecting a mini-boss fight at all, but here we are. The Earth isn't super crazy as it doesn't have a ton of HP and it hits for moderate damage, though it has a super move that kills Hero. We still managed to prevail and I got 600 XP for it. Fully restored and headed back down the walkway, I wonder what the ramifications of destroying the Earth could be. I'm sure it's gonna be fine. Continuing down the path, we see the outline of a familiar foe. Looks like it's the outline of that jacked planet we fought before. Strangely enough, only he and the Earth can be fought. No other planets wish to have a battle with me. Oh well, I guess I can't just wipe out the entire solar system. Arriving out the other side, I go south and it seems Snally is no longer in my way. Snally's days were going to be numbered if they tried pulling that stunt again. I arrive at the gate of the junkyard and enter. Here, we're introduced to a mechanic that we saw a need for earlier, tagging. Aubrey can smash things out the way, Omori can slash, Hero can charm, like what those crows needed, and Kel can throw things. I really like the little tag photos. It's very charming and shows how good of friends the cast are. Moving along, I come across a flower puzzle. That's a side quest I'll complete when I have fast travel unlocked. However, for now, I shall wrangle up the crows. Once I wrangle up these crows using Hero, they fly away with the scarecrow and I'm rewarded with a 5-leaf clover. I head back to the junkyard and continue making my way through. The junkyard has this conveyor gimmick that sends you in one of two directions. Hero has to talk to the bots so they will change the direction of the conveyors, meaning you have to have them tagged for the switching. As we go through this place, we come across these gator guys. They seem to be blocking something. May have to make note of this. That said, we finally can use Kel to throw something at this roadblock thing. We've now used all 4 tags and have been properly introduced to the mechanic. I noticed the gators moved and I went inside this area they were blocking. Here resides Mr. Scarethrow, who goes through all of his lore, hopes, dreams, etc. as I just pelt him with objects. Poor guy. As I make my way through, I find another keyboard letter and keep it moving. Eventually we come across this big old cheese wheel and Hero summons fucking Hamtaro to devour the cheese wheel. Why does Hero have a hamster whistle? Why does Ems float? Why does Ems float back up? The world may never know, but Ems' service proved invaluable. We are then introduced to yet another Sweetheart fan, and that annoying song returns. Oh, it also laughs annoyingly. Great. This is Rosa. She is a sprout mole that's running up a mouth bill she cannot cash out on. The hell? Damn, Rosa can jump. Hope she enjoys it while she can. I'm itching to break its feet? I don't even know if she has legs, but I'm breaking something. This is it. Your time is now, you smelly sprout. Downloading? Foolish download window. Little did you know, I had Task Manager ready. Finally, we pickpocket the smelly sprout and it tries telling us that Space Boyfriend and Sweetheart broke up. Yeah, whatever, I ain't trying to hear all that. I'm gonna take this mixtape and play it so we can have help in finding Basil and Hector. On our way back to Space Boyfriend's place, we overhear these space pirates looking for Pluto. You don't think. It is! Seems Pluto is trying to escape, so we help him hide. The two space pirates ask us if we've seen him and accept our answers pretty readily. Man, these guys are cooked. Pluto then gives us a speech about his desire for freedom. I can dig it. He tells us his dream to open up his own space line and that due to his gratitude for us helping, he will essentially be our fast travel. He even teaches Kel a new skill. After all of that, we are able to head to Space Boyfriend with a renewed sense of vigor. We arrive and figure maybe we shouldn't play the mixtape in case the rumors are true. The space pirate seems a little distraught, but we reassure him that people get over breakups all the time. Meanwhile, Kel was yelling for Space Boyfriend to get up, and then at some point before he made his way over there, he grabbed the mixtape. Naturally, not knowing about our agreement, he puts the mixtape in and blasts it. As you'd guess, this rouses Space Boyfriend from his slumber. He switches the music and seems to be in a bad mood. He tries aura farming by teleporting to and fro 3 feet of distance. He even has his cape wave in the wind, but he is no Piccolo. That said, he curses and wishes to bring harm onto Sweetheart. Kinda cringe since he was dating her. He even said feelings are for losers? Right, we can't let this guy just do that. So naturally, it's turned into a brawl. Luckily, being the first major boss, this fight isn't anything too crazy. Just keep your hearts and juice up and you'll get through it no problem. Afterwards, we learned that Captain Spaceboy had a demon coming inside of him. Explains why he was tweaking so bad. Some of his crew come up and are expecting him to beat them for losing Pluto, but he was surprisingly chill about it. Spaceboy requests that they gather the rest of the crew for snow cones on the frozen lake. Hell yeah. Afterwards, we ask if he has seen Basil. Unfortunately, he has not, but he agrees to keep an eye out. I really do worry about my boy. Aubrey cries and Spaceboy gives her a snow cone ticket as well as a train pass. He then departs to eat with his crew after wishing us luck. A keyboard letter pops up at his bed and I snag that bad boy before heading out of here. We make our way to Mari's picnic and we lament over not finding a hint of Basil. As one does, I follow these bloody footprints and come across what I assume to be a shadow Basil. Seems we have our lead. I follow Basil through this snowy field and eventually he leads us... Wait a second. Us? Where is us? It's just me. Guys? Oh, the barn. And it has an eerie red glow. Well, this barn door isn't going to open itself. I go inside and it's not as bad as I thought. Shadow Basil despawns and I interact with this photo, teleporting me to this place. I find another letter key and approach his family portrait and sheet music. The faces have been blotched out and the sheet music has been scribbled on. I turn around to be jump scared by that damn sketch. What is with this thing? God, luckily I'm back in white space. Nothing has changed here, so I yet again commit seppuku in front of my cat. A cutscene plays out where Basil and I are talking. He apparently saw everything and even saw something behind me? The hell's that all about? I awake to reality once again. I already miss headspace. At least it isn't 3 a.m. this time. As I head out of my room, a knocking occurs. Since it isn't 3 a.m., I am much more willing to open the door. I head to it and the voice on the other side is our boy Kel. Whoa, this time skip is crazy. He came over since he heard I was moving and didn't expect me to open the door. As a result, he didn't have a game plan, but he invited me to hobbies at the faraway plaza. Something I really like about these reality sections is seeing the connections to headspace. It's really cool for me seeing the duality. We head to the park and meet an artist named Mincy. Kel and I hype up their drawings, especially since they're feeling down about their capacity for art. Luckily, our positive attitude inspires them to keep going. I then come across what I assume are hallucinations of a headspace, as they just disappear. Odd. I also met this guy named Jay who is the captain of the football team. Seems he and Kel are pals. Really makes you wish to take back the years wasted to be able to be there for your friends. As we approach hobbies, I see another hallucination, this time of Space Boyfriend. Man, all those years of being a shut-in really hasn't done me any favors. We enter hobbies and immediately see that Captain Spaceboy was a game series and Sweetheart had movies. While here, Kel informs me that Hero is in college studying to be a doctor and will be coming home tomorrow. We then hunt for a gift and find an old cookbook that was destroyed by Kel's childhood dog Hector. Since he didn't bring his wallet, I have to pay for it. That's okay, Kel is our boy after all. We then leave hobbies and decided to go to the park. I was just there. We arrive at the park and, wait a second, that's Basil. He's being bullied by Kim? Oh, Beryl. Aubrey, the pink hair and a bat with nails in it? Seems she's become a bit of a punk, especially since she is bullying our boy Basil. Man, what the hell has happened? She even mocks us for being in our own little bubble for 3 to 4 years. I cannot take this disrespect. First you go after my boy, then you diss Kel, and now you insult me? This will not do at all. I fight her and oh, yeah, This is reality, isn't it? She's shocked I have a knife, but she's literally wielding a baseball bat with nails in it. After I slice her, she and her entourage leave. I can't say it feels good harming a comrade, even if it is for the boys. Kel confiscates my knife and we check on Basil. Kel points me out to Basil and Basil seems nervous. Kel then invites Basil to hang out, but he claims his grandma isn't doing well. He seems scared. Kel then at least offers to walk Basil home, and so we do. Before Basil heads inside, he requests we get back that photo album Aubrey stole from him. I can't believe this. What could have possibly led to this? It's sad to see such good friends having drifted apart. It's too real, man. Way too real. That said, we need to find out what happened. Kel and I head to the park and see if we can't get some clues. Upon arrival, we head to where Aubrey and company were at. Here we find Charlie and his buddy Angel. Don't say it. We speak with him, and Angel will not divulge any whereabouts until we beat his ass. Charlie just stands there as we do. After proving our strength to Angel, he spills the beans, is what I would say, but he doesn't know anything. Although he does tell us of his master who may know, the Maverick, or Michael. When asked of his location, Angel doesn't say anything until Kel threatens to tell everybody about how Angel pissed his bed at summer camp. Seems that did the trick, and Angel tells us Michael is with the Huz at the plaza. Upon arriving, it seems he really is with the Huz. I thought that was just a bunch of baloney. Fair enough, I guess. But giving yourself a nickname with "the" in it is cringe, and how these young ladies do not feel as such is beyond me. Michael then grows irritated that we use his real name and calls Kel his rival. He then engages us in combat while being cringed the entire time. After getting his ass beat in front of the Huz, he then raises his arm and asks the people of Earth to lend him his strength? Doing that little stunt constitutes him being an aura life debt. To make it even worse, the ladies he was with admit they were paid $10 and that being with him wasn't worth the dough. They then just leave, putting the Maverick into generational aura debt. Damn. He then offers them more money and his wig falls off? Bro, this is like getting a pharaoh's curse on your bloodline. God. After all that, he still insists he will not tell us where Aubrey is until we call him by his nickname. No. Instead, we leave. Kel suggests that we find Kim and Vance and that they'd be in the candy store. We arrive and looks like they're stealing. We use this as leverage, but unfortunately the clerk comes over and turns out they were banned from this place due to stealing before. So the clerk knew they had stolen candy. Shit, might as well tail him then. Or not. Seems Kel bought candy to bribe them. That didn't work? Oh, mentioning Taffy seemed to... we still have to fight. Whatever. We both get our asses handed to us, but fortunately after some pleading, Kim divulges the information on Aubrey. Seems she's at the church. Let's go. We head inside and sit behind Aubrey. Kel tells her to give the photo album back, but she says it is none of our business. Kel retorts and says that it is since we used to all be friends. Aubrey emphasized they used to be, and then Kel mentioned how Mari would be sad to have heard this. Aubrey then drops the bomb of Mari being dead. Seems the group splintered after Mari's passing and no one really talked to one another for 4 years. They all went through their own turmoil over such a pivotal passing. Aubrey even says she's still trying to find peace. She also makes mention of Kel moving on so fast. Seems she resents him for that. We begin causing more and more of a ruckus in front of the congregation. Then we begin to see where these people are judging Aubrey. A vicious self-defeatist cycle where you wish to stand out and act out due to your trauma, and then when people point it out, it feeds into it, making it happen more. Naturally, all this bickering leads to a fight at church, during which people just shit all over Aubrey, and then she proceeds to whoop our asses. Having a nailed bat helps with that, I suppose. Afterwards, we learn that Aubrey's dad left during the 4 years. Jeez, this is heavy stuff. She then runs out embarrassed and sad. Kel says this was really bad timing. Yeah, it probably was. I then head out to the back of the church where the cemetery is. I find Mari's tombstone and Kel explains how Hiro took Mari's passing. Hiro basically shut down. He stopped doing all the things he loved and became a closed book. An extreme difference from the Hiro we've come to know. Kel explains that one night this all came to a head when he tried to comfort Hiro. Hiro completely exploded on Kel, and every time Kel opened his mouth, Hiro screamed more and more. Eventually their parents ran in and comforted Hiro, leaving Kel neglected. Realizing this, Hiro came to hug Kel and apologize to him. Afterwards, Hiro started getting better and became more outgoing. He was still more closed off than before, but he was doing better. Kel then explains that Hiro has never visited Mari's grave and how he blames himself for her death. Man, what happened to Mari? After that story from Kel, I noticed this peculiar flower. Must have been basil. Well, anyways, I think we should get out of here. We leave the church, and on our way home, Aubrey throws out the photo album. By the way, the outside of Aubrey's house looks pretty neglected. She must have it really rough. Anyways, Kel digs through the trash and gets the photo album. I high-five Kel, and then we look through it. We see a ton of memories that also line up with the ones we saw in Headspace, and then some. Something of note is how Sunny learned the violin to play at recitals with Mari. That explains the sheet music at those stairs we saw before we just woke up. Man, seeing how well they used to get along compared to now is tragic. We also learned that Muo, that cat in white space, was Mari's. After going through the album, I deliver it back to Basil, and a woman named Polly answers the door. She says she is his caretaker while Basil stands nervously in the doorway. Polly invites us in for dinner and Kel accepts for both of us. He knows what's up. Heading inside, you immediately notice how clean it is and the plants Basil's been taking care of. Kel requests we go through the album, but Basil seems very hesitant, like extremely hesitant. He still agrees despite this. Considering I've already gone through it, I just skip it. Kel helps with dinner and I am able to explore. I end up in Basil's grandma's room and take a look at the flower. Right before I can leave the room, Basil comes in. The exchange is extremely awkward. Basil explains how his grandma can't hear us and that she is not doing well at all. He then says how it's good that we are still around, which is a strange thing to say. He also gives us the photo album and says it'll be of more use to us than him. He then tells me how he was taking pictures of what he was afraid to lose the most, and how he hopes things can go back to the way they were. Kel then calls for us since dinner is ready and Basil leaves. I check in the bathroom, nothing. I check in his room and I make note of his camera being dusty. I then head into the kitchen to eat. Kel is talking and then notices we have the album. He asks why and Basil says he thought I should have it. Kel then says how nice that is since I'm moving. Basil is absolutely flabbergasted by this. He had no idea and had to go to the bathroom as a result. Kel doesn't think much of it, but I think we should check on him. Something is not right. We go into the bathroom and Basil has turned the lights off. He's tweaking. We see these tendrils around him and he asks if we see it behind ourselves too. We look in the mirror and shit, we're tweaking as well. This is no good. Unfortunately, I can't do anything else besides leave the bathroom. Basil begs me not to leave him again, but I do. I wish I didn't, but this is scripted. I collect Kel and try interacting with the door again, but to no avail. Kel says he'll collect us tomorrow morning, and we go inside our house. By the 9 divines, I am fucking tweaking. All these spiders and my staircase has yet again gotten long as all hell. This is no good. I reach the top of the stairs, and there it is again, that sketch. Mari then jump scares me, and I'm assailed by an evil spider thing. After a few turns of calming down, I remember how to focus, and the spider just goes away. I go to the bathroom to check if it's still there, and oh, it definitely is. Great. I go to bed, and I think there is a ghost at the foot of it. Just what the doctor ordered. I reawakened in white space and headed through the door. I'm greeted by my pals, Kel, Hiro, and Aubrey. Aubrey even flirts with Omori? Huh. Afterwards, we head to Mari to show that I am alright. We then lament over how we miss our boy Basil. We figured we should head west of the stump to where all the spiders are. Of course, being one of my fears, Mari and the others encourage me, except Hiro, since he is scared of spiders as well. After this, I turn in the flower puzzle to Daisy and go to Beryl. Letting this scene play out gives Aubrey 50 more juice, or MP. Now I think we can head to the evil spiders. Heading north of the playground, we come across 4 lost sprout moles. They mention that they have tickets, front row tickets, to a show that Sweetheart's putting on. But being lost and all, they take their frustrations out on us, or so they thought. We reverse jumped the lost sprout moles and ran their pockets. Now we have 4 front row tickets to a Sweetheart show. Nice. Hopefully she won't be as annoying as her fans. I reach the spider web and everyone has my back to help me get over my fear. I cut through the web and enter the Firefly Forest. Spooky odd place. It even gives Kel the heebie-jeebies. Well, might as well look around. Perhaps Basil could be somewhere around here? I go west and come across the joke book. Next to the book is the Weeping Willow who wishes to hear a joke. Well, my book is empty. I do know where 2 jokes are. Give me a second. I head back to the other world and collect the 2 jokes I was aware of and head back to the Weeping Willow. Apparently Omori and Kel cannot tell the jokes as they are too embarrassing, so I switch to Hiro and he tells her both jokes. They were so bad that they made the Weeping Willow cry even harder. Alright, it seems I need better material. Maybe that comedic mushroom from Look Outside was right about me being no expert in comedy. Whatever, we move. Moving along, we come across a minecart. The rail has a few pieces missing, so I reckon we'll need to fix this to drive the minecart. Doing so will break through the rock blocking our way. I retrieve the matchbox and find a Mari picnic. I save and go up to fight this big ass bear I saw and eat this mushroom named Mush. I don't know if I was horribly underleveled, but Rare Bear took my ass to lunch and he ate it in front of me. I died 3 times this fight. It was rough. This game is one where if the main character dies, that's it. Makes sense since this is our delusional world, but man oh man. My initial strategy for the fight was to use Jax to reduce the bear's speed stat as his turn was right after Kel's. With the turn order changed, I was certain I would have been able to wail on him until it died, occasionally having to use life jams and such to keep my party afloat. In hindsight, I might have been able to better take on the bear through using Hiro and Aubrey as targets with this strategy. This being of extra importance since the bear would occasionally focus on Omori, thus ending the fight in 2 turns. Omori only has 1 does not succumb per battle, and the bear was easily able to break through this with its attacks. My first strategy did not work well at all since I didn't think to use Hiro or Aubrey as distractions. but I eventually realized the battle doesn't say I can't change the bear's emotion. I used the dandelion at first and then remembered that Hero can do the same thing with a massage. Seems using the jacks and taking the bear's emotion to neutral was the answer. Whenever the bear is taken out of being angry, it'll waste a turn going back into it. With it being the last to go, this virtually gave it no opportunity to strike back at me, except when Hero's massage didn't work. But by then it was too late and the bear fell. The rare bear's health pool was only 700, which isn't crazy, but he can damn near or fully one-shot everyone in my party. What an opponent. He didn't drop anything, but it was still fun figuring out how to tackle that big bastard. I head southwest to this section where I have to use the matchbox to light candles. Weirdly, the spiders gravitate to the candles like moths. Perhaps a hybridization? As I continue onwards, we now see these Wallmaster-esque spiders that yank your ass back to the beginning if you were taking too long. Unlike the Wallmasters from Zelda, these are unavoidable. I grab the rail track and then go northeast from where I am and come across another place similar to the one where I was at. Here I find Candly, who wants their teddy bear. Seems they dropped it in a pink castle. I'll keep an eye out. However, until then, I must grab the rail track and place them at the missing slots. Seems we need one more piece. I head west of Mari and collect the last piece. Let's break this rock already. As I went to repair the final rail, I noticed that the rare bear was back. So he wasn't a mini-boss? I guess I wasn't supposed to fight him yet. Classic. Anyways, we get in the cart and away we go. Seems that might be the castle where the teddy bear is, and I reckon where the show is being held. We head east and encounter Mari. We have a little scene where Hero loses aura over his fear of spiders, and I can now fast travel out of here. Earlier I tried going into the vast forest to water those flowers. Wait, don't tell me you forgot. Well, that's alright. I remember for the both of us. I go over to water Basil's plants. They were really damn thirsty. Watering these grants Omori +1 HP. I check on Basil's house and this place is looking rough. Even the floor is sinking in. Damn, perhaps all of this is a reflection of how the reality versions are, especially since everyone's associated plant needed watering. Well, except Kel. I go back north and then east. Remember that other long ass ladder? Oh yeah, we're going up. I climb up, find a letter key, and put my hand in this hole. Someone held it back. At least it wasn't eaten this time. I proceed north, save at the Mari picnic, and fight Kite Kid. I beat him, but he managed to make everyone toasted except for me. I full restore and then flew kites with my friends. Time to go back to the main route of finding Basil. Proceeding on, we find the corpses of these sprout moles. Admittedly, I had thought they were turned into stone, and that we'd be fighting a Medusa type of enemy. Nope. Instead, we get this centipede-like creature that uses the sprout moles as segments for its body. Luckily, it's pretty easy if you know what you're doing, which I do, and thus I stop this evil creature from genociding more sprout moles. I go into the hole and find the colony the space sprout spoke of. I hope all those dead sprout moles were not the ones who left the space colony. Anyways, let's see what these guys got going on. I came across the brother of the sprout mole we spoke to at the space colony. He asks if we can deliver this care package as he is afraid of getting lost. Smart sprout. I agree and decide to do that before continuing onwards. I deliver the package and it was 99 tofu. The space mole brother loves this so much that he gives me a life jam. I head back to the forest colony and continue looking around. Here you'll find a wide variety of goofy, wacky, and cute sprout moles, like these two arguing about which tofu temp is best, cold or hot. Speaking with them, Hero will propose lukewarm as a compromise. They both agree that this idea is horrible and unite in their disdain for such a thing. At least they stopped bickering, I guess. I also saw a rope that I cut without knowing what it would do. Thankfully, it was just an anvil hovering above the head of this Kingsfield enemy. It fell on its head, netting me a few items. You also come across these seasonal sprout moles who will give you a gift depending on which season you like the best. Naturally, I chose winter, and now the other seasonal sprout moles will not give me a gift. Stingy little shits. It would also seem that Rosa lives here. You know, Sweetheart's biggest fan. Going lower, we see this colony has treadmill moles that are led by a warden? Are they powering this place? Damn, these things don't mess around. After fully exploring the colony, I head back up and go to the big castle-like doors to see if this is where the show is being held. The ticket mole refers to us as weird-looking sprout moles, very observant. After seeing our front row tickets, it tells us we must have made great sacrifices to be here. He then rescinds the weird-looking mole comment to tell us we are the most normal-looking sprout moles they've ever seen. What the hell did those 4 sprout moles have to do to get these front row tickets? I head inside, take my seat, and the MC comes out. He then prompts a moment of silence for the ye old sprout. If only the rest of them knew his killers were here in the front row. The MC then proceeds to tell us that this is a dating show? The 3 contestants are announced, 2 of which are sprout moles, and the third is Snally. The locals do not really clap for Snally at all, but went crazy for the other 2. The MC then announces Sweetheart's arrival, and finally, she... What the hell? Low tier god? He got Snally! Oh no! Even worse, there's only 2 contestants now. This is no good. Low tier god's appearance even made the power go out. Well, shit. The sprout moles are freaking out, but luckily, I'm here. I head for the exercising sprout moles, and it seems all that LTG power made the plug come out. I put it back in and voila. Seems the warden believes the running fixed this. How have these things survived for so long? Anyways, I made my way back to the show, and this mustache mole is looking for a suitable replacement for Snally. Seems these other identical sprouts don't cut the mustard. Then the mustache mole notices Hero and immediately recruits him to be contestant number 3. We take our seats and the show finally commences. We have a moment of silence for Snally, and then Hero comes on out. Afterwards, the woman of the hour who holds great power arrives, or is revealed since she was sitting on the couch behind the curtain. She gives an irritating laugh and the MC gets right into it, asking the first sprout if he pledges life to Sweetheart. He says yes, but he's too short and is sent to the dungeon for that. The second sprout mole's whole existence offends her. This one tries booking it, but he's caught and will be housed in the dungeon for all of eternity. Hero is then asked if he pledges life to her, and he responds with the wrong dialogue choice. He says no, it doesn't seem fair. Apparently I was wrong about the dialogue choice. Sweetheart is head over heels for him. She immediately wants to take him to her chambers. Damn, my boy is about to get violated. We can't have that, especially since he and Mari are together. The guards come and Aubrey encourages Hero to reject her. He does, and luckily Hero does not mention Mari, especially considering how easily swayed Sweetheart is to throw people in the dungeons. As you'd be able to suspect, Sweetheart does not like this. And all the undercover sprout mole guards take us to the dungeon. Also, it seems the mustache mole was Rosa? She managed to get her revenge. Shit. Well, at least the gate was open, these dumb little bastards. We then start making our ways through the dungeon. After some button pressing, we come across this stupid sprout in our way. Of course, he will not move. We then approach the spikes and beckon to Mari. She presses the button for us and we heal up. We then have a little picnic, and of course she asks if Hero would have said yes to Sweetheart. Hero says no and tries to woo her, but it doesn't work at all. That's alright, they're already dating. After this cute little scene, we continue on. I click all these buttons in sequence, one of which pops that sprout mole that wouldn't move out of our way out of existence. Once we finish pressing the buttons, we are now at the entrance and leave the dungeon. Of course, since we are leaving through the main entrance, some sprout mole guards are standing there. We are almost cooked until Hero busts out the sprout mole masks. The guards can't believe their eyes. They were mistaken the whole time and allowed us to carry on. These are some damn good disguises, to be honest. I explore and come across a scene where the head chef was retiring and is leaving the 4 sous chefs in charge. The problem stems from them needing to make the best cake of their life, or they're going in the dungeon. Of course, since we happen to be right there, one of the 4 sous chefs appoints us as their sous chefs and have us bake the best cake ever. The sous chef claims to know the recipe by heart, but this turns out to be false. Firstly, he instructs us to preheat the oven at 75 degrees. Then he tells us to mix flours and ping pong balls, cheese and salt, and cut up the sauce. Obviously, I don't follow his directions and use the proper ingredients. Having rescued the cake, he believes this to be the best cake ever. I am sure this will have him executed since he believes he was right with the ingredients he told us to use. Moving along, I leave the kitchen and find Sir Maximus. It seems he saw through our disguise and decided to defeat us. Unfortunately, he is too weak and falls. He did do a scary move at the end, but it doesn't matter since he's dead. I head west and then go into Sweetheart's chamber. This sprout mole Costella is trying to move the Space Boy statue away, but can't pick it up. We help by destroying it, and then she cleans it up. She brings in the other Sweetheart statue and realizes she just had to lift it from the bottom to pick it up. Classic. I collect the remaining things up here and head to the ground floor and go east. I see Pluto being weird and he just flies off without even a hello. Whatever. I head into this room and encounter a sprout mole choir. They have an issue. When sprout moles hear music, they get sleepy. Kel seems to know exactly what needs to be done to help with such a problem. However, I see some cake and must partake first. It smells like the ocean, but I eat it anyway, and I'm transported to this underwater place. I get some jam packets and return to the choir. I then approach the conductor and assist this dilemma. I huck tomatoes at the ones falling asleep to wake their lazy asses on up and keep singing. I do this 3 times and I think the conductor is pleased. I don't know for sure if I am honest, but they'll have to make do or they're going to be thrown into the dungeon. I leave this area and am confronted by Sir Maximus II. Seems he wishes to avenge his father, and he almost does with his father's ultimate attack. However, almost only counts in horseshoes and hand grenades. Thus, Sir Maximus II falls knowing he could not avenge his father. The West Wing has an art gallery featuring famous real paintings, just with Sweetheart replacing the primary subject of these pieces. Anyways, I go south in the West Wing and am met with a tremendously long line of sprout moles. The receptionist who is in charge of letting in the properly dressed sprout moles needs our help. He shows us a helpful chart in deciding who can come into the main event. Without fail, I assist to the best of my ability and adhere to the strict dress code for such a prestigious event. I round up all the sprout moles and bring them back to the receptionist. They are then sent to the dungeon for wearing the wrong clothes. A fine punishment for these unruly swine. After dealing with all of that hullabaloo, I go further south and watch a masterpiece of a movie. A white tear ran down my leg. I then head back to where the cooks were in the northeast and continue along that way since there is more to explore there. I am yet again interrupted by a knight. Sir Maximus III has made his way over to avenge his father and grandfather. Unfortunately for him, I am prepared and I send his ass to meet both of them. Sir Maximus III falls knowing he could not avenge either his father or grandfather, and with that, their lineage is over. Funnily enough, exploring and helping the sprout moles was what I was supposed to do, and the sprout moles that were crowding the entrance are now gone. I will come back to this later, as I want to make sure I'm not missing anything in the northeast. I come up here and there isn't really anything of note, other than the cake where I get another jam packet. I have no idea why I believe this way to be significant, but whatever. To the main entrance we go. We arrive and see all the sprout moles going and then disappear. Seems they went into an area we are not privy to. Looks like we'll have to poke around until we find what is needed. I head all the way down and this happens. That is upsetting. Whatever, I got a maze to complete. I go to the northwest section and am zapped by the statues. Seems we need Kel to throw things at it, but he only throws forward. Fortunately, after Aubrey lets Kel know he can aim, we're able to take out the statues. I head south and encounter this mushroom who I take a bite out of. It teaches me a special cutting technique that I developed in this hyperbolic time chamber of a trip. Seems like this will help with traversal later. Once we get back to the vast forest, I know where it can be used. I leave this trip, hit the button, and make my way to the southwest maze. Beforehand, I see a hatch that leads to the lock section by Mari's picnic basket in the dungeon. Hell yeah, we now have a full restore nearby. I return and continue into the southwest maze. I clear it in no time and head to the northeast maze. Both of the north and southeast mazes are cleared no problem. I wonder. I then interact with a sweetheart statue and it turns out I need a 4-word password. I saw those golden sprout moles standing around. Maybe I should ask them. Alex in the northwest tells me his password after I pinky swear. His is filled, which is the 3rd word. Southwest sees us bribing Carol with tofu to get the 1st word, sweet. I go to the southeast and meet Helen, who vents and tells us their word is donut. We don't know her word's place, but I'm sure we could guess. I finally go northeast and encounter Brian. He guards the 2nd word. After guessing that he is thinking about tofu, he tells us his word is jelly. With that, the password is sweet jelly-filled donuts, and the statue opens up for us. I go down and read a letter about how someone wants to have kids with Sweetheart. Man, what? I read some more fan mail and make note of this big-ass bear laying here. I wonder if that was the missing bear that NPC in Firefly Forest wanted. Also, I have an interesting book for that other NPC. Damn, I wish I could go back right now, but I suppose I can't. I climb up the ladder and we're back in the Sprout Mole colony? I guess that makes sense. Also, this is a wedding ceremony. The MC explains that this is the last episode we are introduced to the only person best fit to be Sweetheart's suitor, herself. Talk about cringe. She almost fully marries herself, but then Aubrey steps in and tells Sweetheart that there is someone out there for her. Sweetheart retorts that she no longer believes in love. Somehow the rest of us are now in the aisle after being threatened to be sent to the dungeon again, and Hero tries reasoning with her. Of course, Sweetheart requests that Hero marries her here and now. Naturally, he declines yet again. Sweetheart starts tweaking and then it's brawling time. Sweetheart is a moderately challenging boss that can catch you off guard. She makes everyone angry and then she becomes happy. If you remember your emotion chart, that makes her more potent against us. I suggest clearing your angry statuses and making Omori sad as soon as possible. If able, lower her general stats as well. I kept putting pressure on her by using defense and attack lowering skills. I paired it with Kel flexing and then hit her with his running gun. I also had a sad Omori stab her repeatedly and Aubrey was providing general damage. Keep your health and juice up, be aware of your emotional states, and this fight will be okay. After a little, I take Sweetheart down. Finally, this obnoxious little shit had her clock cleaned. She then demands her guards take us to the dungeon, but they're too scared. You know, why do I even care if Sweetheart marries herself? Weren't we looking for Bae's space boyfriend? Yeah, he shows back up, proposes to Sweetheart, she accepts, and they marry right then and there. As they leave, Sweetheart detonates the bomb she had under the stage. What the shit is even happening? How did we get so sidetracked from searching for Basil? Whatever, let's get out of... Oh, Shadow Basil's back. I guess he was here then. Before that, I need to go down this ladder and check on something. Oh, it's just a rare bear. I then come across a hole in the wall with this painter here. This is Rococo. Apparently his home planet blew up and he's the last elf in the universe. He was also found by Sweetheart when she was a kid. They grew up together and it seems this guy wanted to repopulate his species. He and Sweetheart grew to love each other and even moved to this castle. He was hoping to raise hundreds and hundreds of kids with her. A part he forgot to mention her, by the way. Happens to the best of us. After Sweetheart got famous, she received tons of gifts and love letters. This bothered Rococo. But Sweetheart said she is for sharing. Crazy statement, by the way. So, as one does with an unruly significant other, Sweetheart and her guards tied him up and sealed him in the castle walls. After all the time he spent in the walls, he threw away his dreams as they seemed far-fetched and became an artist. I'm assuming in the last few days since he has no art to show. That said, he requests us to commission him for 1,000 clams. Fuck it, why not? Seems like this will take time. He tells us to come back later. Alright, whatever. I come back out and decide to kill the rare bear. Might as well since I'm here. The fight went much easier and oh, seems he had the teddy bear. Better turn in these 2 quests and then follow Shadow Basil. We come out and are greeted with another side quest. This is Pessy, Sweetheart's other #1 fan. Unfortunately, he left his most precious item and asked us to get it and that we'd know it when we see it. I then approach this shady mole who requests the invention the mayor has been working on in exchange for Pesci's item. We agree and I head to the mayor. He tells me his son is testing it at the moment, so I go and look for his son. Before I go to his son, I give this athletic mole some tofu and he gave me a big ass air horn. Once I find the mayor's son sleeping in the BED, I use the air horn to wake him up. Seems the mayor's invention is too powerful since his son overslept, and now the son goes back to tell the mayor the results. We get back to the mayor, and it turns out he was inventing a device that could allow the sprouts to sleep at night and be more productive during the day. But since the BED was so comfortable that it made his son oversleep, the invention is deemed too powerful and we are given the BED. I then take it back to the shady mole who tells us he didn't actually have the item, but saw Rosa digging through Pesci's pockets. Thank God that Rosa lives here. Let's see about getting that item back. I talk with Rosa and she is not only upset that Sweetheart got back with Space Boyfriend, but she blames us. She also refuses to give the item back. Shit, what now? I head back up and speak with the shady mole. He then gives us blackmail detailing Rosa's dark past. I reckon this should sway that stubborn sprout. We return to Rosa and it seems her tune changed immediately upon seeing the blackmail. We trade it for Pesci's item and she burns the blackmail, kicking us out afterwards. We then return to Pesci with his item in hand, and he rewards us with a not so good weapon for Aubrey. Well, at least the quest was entertaining. I then proceed to make my way to turn in the other 2 quests I had. The interesting book nets us the deep poetry book charm, which allows the wearer to start the battle sad. Pretty darn good depending on what you wish to do with it. The teddy bear quest nets us the rubber duck. Also, it seems that the rare bear is the teddy bear. If it doesn't maul the kid, I suppose I shouldn't mind. Anyways, with that, I can head back to the stage and we can finally follow Shadow Basil. We jump down the hole and just myself lands in a twisted version of Sweetheart's library. As I continue, I see fractured memories as books. Memories that censor the names of those involved, as if I shouldn't and couldn't remember who was who. White egret orchards adorn this place, and as I make my way down, I see a ghostly pale girl appear and disappear. Eventually, I find the letter L and head into the light. Inside, I find Shadow Basil and a piano that has my name on it. Nothing else here of interest besides Mari's picnic basket and some fruits. I leave and then go to the east and interact with this strange purple light. Netting a cutscene, we reawaken Whitespace. Make note of the toy box, but for now, let's see what is different. The light bulb seems to be getting more intense. Nothing else is of note, and with that, I leave Whitespace the only way I know how. We wake up to reality yet again. This time, the knocking is present from the get-go. I listen to the new voicemail left by Sonny's mother, and boy, she expresses worry over him not responding, yet does not return home or anything. Way too real. I head to the front door and open it to my boy Kel. It seems Hero is coming around dinner time. That said, their mother enlisted Kel to go to Faraway Plaza and buy some things. Of course, we'll be tagging along with my boy. As we pass by Kel's house, we see that some ne'er-do-wells graffitied Kel smells on his driveway entrance. The disrespect, man. We continue on. I head to the park and meet this blue-haired girl. Apparently she moved away quite a while ago, and she came back 3 years ago. Kel states how good she is at swimming, and she tells us that she loves the beach. She requests that we bring any seashells we find around here to her, and that it would be worth my time. Hell yeah. Afterwards, I find the real Basil, and he seems very standoffish. It's good that he isn't cooped up in his home, but he seems to be freaked out interacting with us. We also meet this lady that will pay you $1 per trash you find, so keep an eye out. Not many methods of making money in reality, I'm afraid, so we take what we can get. We reach the plaza and Kel says we need to stop at Gino's and then the bakery. I happen to notice the scooters and Aubrey's bike. This is gonna be no good. We head inside and they were all eating pizza and discussing their secret hiding spot. After the scene plays out, we head to the counter and get berated for going to a pizza place and ordering a sandwich. Blow me, you jackass. Pizza places tend to have absolute bombs for subs. Shoot, if you find the right one, every piece off their menu will blow your socks off. Don't want to have me order it? Don't sell it. Jeez, the nerve of this guy. I head out and am surprised that there was no interaction with Aubrey's gang. Whatever. I go to the bakery and get Kel's order. At least these fine folk don't berate me for my order. With that, our little mini quest is completed. What now? As we walk outside, Kel takes inventory of what we got. He also notes how the sun is about to set. Already? Shit. Well, let's get back to your place and see our boy Hiro. As we approach Kel's house, he tells me to go first since his mom will yell at him for taking too long, and that she'd be excited to see us first and forget to yell at Kel. Man, that is way too real. Holy shit. We head inside and Kel gets yelled at anyways, but the yelling stops when his mother notices us. She greets us and Kel drags us to his room. Man, notice all the trophies on Hiro's side? Must be hard to live up to that. Jeez. Kel also informs us that he has a baby sister now. Nice, man. As we are catching up, a girl comes to Kel's house. You don't think. Polly? Seems Basil is missing in real life too? Damn, we gotta find him. Aubrey's gang could be beating my boy's ass. With Kel's mom's permission, we look for our king. We go back to the park to find clues and we hear Basil screaming for help. Turns out he might be at our old hangout. The entrance is among these trees. Let's go save him. We head up into a confusing scene. Basil is tweaking and the Aubrey gang claims they just asked him to leave. We can figure that out later. The whole 6 of them then fights us. I try to do what I can to beat them, but their health pool and damage output is too much and I didn't have enough healing. Naturally, a 2v6 goes very differently in real life, and we lose. Despite that, Kel persists. He brings up Mari and Aubrey ain't trying to hear all that. Kel then points out how she is trying to forget her old friends, yet is going to their old hangout spot. Aubrey's gang leaves, but she stays and breaks down. Crying, she asks us where any of us were when Mari died. She then redirects her anger to Basil and pushes him into the pond after what he did. What did he do? Anyways, Kel and Aubrey stand there arguing and it's up to me to save our king. Old habits die hard with those two. I approach the pond and have to just get over my fear of drowning to save Basil. As we go, we have a scene of us walking down our home staircase under the water. Seems that pale girl is leading me. We get to the bottom and this evil face absorbs me? I don't even know, but when I come to, I am surrounded by something. Attacking is useless and then a voice tells me to calm down, so I do. It then reminds me how to persist. After I persist more and more, that something turns out to just be some aquatic plant life and not something actively trying to kill me. Unfortunately, my bitch ass can't swim. Seems I wasn't much help with Basil. Though, that pale girl jumped in to grab my hand? Oh, turns out it was just Hiro. Thank God he got here when he did. I awake, but Basil is still out. His breathing is stable, but he's soaking wet and cold. Hiro instructs that we gotta take him home, leaving Aubrey behind. I kinda feel bad for her, but right now we gotta get Basil home. We deliver Basil to Polly and Hiro takes him to his room so Polly can get him dry and have new dry clothes put on him. Hiro comes out and asks what happened. Kel explains and Hiro was shocked that the girl was Aubrey. He wonders and feels bad for having left for college since things have changed so much. We head back to Kel's after I accept another high five and their mom starts crying about how the chicken she spent all week preparing is cold. Kel reassures her that a microwave can fix this, but it doesn't help. I understand completely. A microwave just can't compare, mostly because of how it heats things, but still. Sally, the baby of the house, awakes and cries. Kel's mom goes and tends to her as we heat up the chicken in the microwave. Hiro gives me words of encouragement regarding us moving. He also mentions how they liked hanging out at our place since we had a big TV, grand piano, and all the latest toys. Seems our parents are very well off. When the chicken finishes, we head to the living room to eat and look at the photo album. After we look at the album, Hiro notices that Mari is not in any of the remaining photos. Curious. Hiro proposes that we go to my house one last time before I move. Of course, that has to pass through their mother. As you'd expect, Hiro and Kel's mother isn't too pleased with him going to hang out at my place since Hiro just got here. Their dad pushes to let this happen since the whole gang hasn't been together for a while now. Their mother basically says that Hiro and Kel hates her, and that Hiro has to do the dishes with her the whole week that he's back. With that, we start to go to my place. As we walk out of their house, Hiro suggests that we should get his mother some flowers to help cheer her up. So we do, and we deliver them. Their mother apologizes for overreacting and says for us to keep in touch. She even says we'll always have a home here. That's really nice of her. Now we can go to my place. We head inside and immediately Kel talks about a specific memory regarding spilling his drink on the carpet. This was one we read in the dark library at the end of the last Headspace section. They then decided to stay the night since it would be the last time they could, and as we are about to go upstairs, Hiro goes into the piano room so we follow him. He plays the piano a little and says he's out of practice. Pretty damn good for someone who is out of practice. Hiro then asks if we still play the violin and how we'd always play a piece with Mari. They'd sometimes even hear it from their house. Afterwards, Kel and Hiro decide to look for blankets to sleep in my room with. As you stand here in the piano room, a faint tune eventually plays. It will play throughout the house. It's the song from the title screen. I make my way upstairs, head into my mother's room. That pale girl is standing at the picnic basket and fades away. That confirms it. This pale girl must be Mari. I ventured to guess prior, but wasn't certain. I go into my bathroom and look into the mirror and see this. Of course, the faint music stops. Creepy as hell. I headed into my room and these two made a little fort. Kel gives Hiro that cookbook we bought, and it appears that Hiro has given up cooking. Kel hits him with some logic, stating that you need to eat anyway, so why stop? But Hiro seems uncomfortable. Kel then immediately falls asleep, and then Hiro talks a little with me about not being there and how it's good we haven't really changed. He wishes that Aubrey and Basil could be here, and then we go to bed. We get this scene that reminds me of this, and now we are in Headspace? No white space connection at all? Something seems very off. No one is at the playground, and all of the areas are covered in a highly thick fog, except the north, where the pier is. Standing there is Mari. She suggests we go through the water to find our friends. I agree. She says she will be with me the whole time and that I've always hated being alone. I get ready to go in, but I'm still scared of drowning. Mari then says something very familiar. It's been her words this entire time that has taught us to calm down, focus, and even persist. With her words, we are no longer scared of drowning. I get into the water and move forward with Mari by my side. We get through the heavily foggy area and see tons of shadow people. Once we make our way onto another pier, Mari says she is proud of me, although there is still something harder for me to overcome. I make my way through this maze-like pier, see Shadow Basil, and find a giant curtain. Mari explains that she shouldn't be here and can't go any further. She says that she misses Sunny and turns into the pale white girl. She goes into the window and it fades away, turning into a portal. I go inside and I'm teleported to some water in front of this well. I go down into it and it takes me to the sea floor, and I grab the M letter key. It looks like I ended up on an endless highway. This taxi driver will drive me back to Deepwell. However, there is a toll that only allows carpools. Seems we need to find our friends. I talk with the taxi driver again, and he takes me to the last resort. Here I find my boy Kel. Turns out everyone got tricked into signing labor contracts and have jobs now? Damn, we have to save them. Kel doesn't know where Hiro is since he travels all over the last resort for work, but Aubrey is on the 5th floor. Let's go get her. I go forward a bit and Mari? She greets me, but Kel sees that Omori is just being stoic. Must be shocked due to what happened earlier. That said, we gotta help our friends and then find Basil. How the hell did Kel forget about that again? Whatever, we move on. I go into this haunted pool and now I'm at a ghost party. I take the O letter key and go into the hole there. I end up in this pit with 2 tapes and a TV. I foolishly didn't look at the tape on the right's label and picked up the Omori one. It plays a scene where Sunny looks despondent at Mari's piano. I then pop back into the ghost party. I talk to this top hat and it seems his guests have not arrived due to him not giving proper directions. He hands me 6 spooky maps to aid in this and I leave. I'll be sure to keep an eye out. I head into the last resort and see some of the kids manning different stations. Of course, it seems Kel has tried visiting the boss, Mr. Jawson, before, and the Gator guys immediately attack us. Before we reach the elevator, Kel says he has to take a shit. Can't save our pals with a full colon, so we head to the bathroom. I collect the P key and go down the dark hole of the bathroom. This time I end up in the bubble zone, and oh, wonderful, an evil detached head? My favorite. We go into the elevator and Mari has set up shop here. I can dig it. However, it turns out we need to get a cool key card in order to get to the 5th floor. I suppose we should start looking on the 2nd floor. I immediately find the rock paper scissors champion and he agrees if I beat him that he'll be giving me his life savings. I beat him and receive 3 clams. Damn dude, I don't even want this anymore. Well, whatever. I got a cool key card to find. I head into this room and oh, it's the cool key card. I really didn't expect it to get it this quick. Whatever. I'll explore the other floors anyway. The 3rd floor has more rooms than Life Jam guy. We go into battle and he does 9,999 damage to demo his Life Jam, and then gives me 3 of them. I use it on Kel and we are done. He even heals me. What a cool guy. The 4th floor is still under construction, but we find one of the ghosts here and send him off. Heading through this hole, we find another picnic. I explore a little and it becomes clear that we need Aubrey to progress. So I head up to the 5th floor. We arrive and Beryl is blocking Mr. Jawson's room. After much pleading, she agrees to let us in, but first we must retrieve her a bottle of water. Man, it's always something. I go to the basement, which doubles as the break room. Steal a bottle of water, go back up to the 5th floor and give Beryl the water. She then prompts her 2 Gator buddies to tag along to the basement since they have pizza down there. Why the hell did you have me go get the bottle if you were just going there anyway? Little shit. I swear. We go into the room, oh, it's an elevator. Okay. I grab the Q letter key and go up the elevator. I walk north and encounter Aubrey. Looks like she's the secretary of Mr. Jawson. She appears to be overworked and even mentions the tofu fundraiser. She wonders who would pay money for tofu. I could think of an entire race of sprout moles that would. That aside, she's really into this whole thing. Kel helps her take deep breaths and reminds Aubrey that she is not a secretary. Kel also reminds her that we need to find Basil. She breathes and then snaps out of it. She notices us and is happy we're saving her. She worries about the contract, but who cares? Then Mr. Jawson calls, tells her and Kel to come to his office right now, and it seems we have another elevator to go up. Man, how tall is this place? We finally arrived at Mr. Jossum's office, and he tries comparing a slave contract to a promise. He was even convincing Kel, but Aubrey brought up how we promised one another that we would find Basil. Mr. Jossum agrees to let Aubrey go under the condition that she take Kel. Nice. However, he does not want to give up Hiro, as Hiro is way too useful of a worker. Mr. Jossum says Hiro is the best worker he has ever hired, and that Hiro's very presence makes Mr. Jossum's work output increase by 700%. Damn! Of course, as if on cue, Hiro comes up another elevator and tells Mr. Jossum how he is finished setting up the tofu fundraiser. Not being able to say no and being damn good at nearly everything you do must be a wretched combo. After reminding Hiro about Basil, he comes to his senses. Man, what is with everyone forgetting about Basil? Unfortunately, Mr. Jossum does not like the prospect of losing his ultimate employee. So, as a result of breaking the contracts, we will be punished with death. We battle Mr. Jossum and his lackeys. Luckily, this fight is truly nothing to worry about. We take him out and he summons Pluto. How could you, Pluto? I thought we were boys. Pluto turns into his final form, and it's time for a brawl. His fight is longer and can be harder than Mr. Jossum's, but it's nothing too crazy if you pay attention and use your debuffs. Pluto is proud of our strength, but he still has a job to do. Right before he uses 100% of his power, Mr. Jossum stops the fight. He doesn't want to risk losing any more valuable assets today, and Pluto leaves. With that, Mr. Jossum kicks us out and we are free to explore the last resort. I go back to the 4th floor, I collect the R letter key and leave. Hiro explains that all he remembers before signing the contract was falling down an endless black hole, and when he came to, the contract was signed. We then brainstorm how to find Basil. We even think to draw a picture of him and ask around. Cal and Aubrey tried drawing Basil, but it doesn't seem like they can remember how he looks. Even Hiro is unsure how to fix the drawing. Ultimately, we decided to go to Deepwell and check there. Remember Deepwell? The toll I couldn't get past because I was by myself? Yeah, we should be able to get through it now. On our way out, we encounter that shady mole who gave us the Rosa blackmail. He claims that clams will be obsolete and we'll be needing clems. Seems like a scam, honestly, so I'll have to pass. You know what? Why not? Let's give him a chance. Maybe he's for real. We give the shady mole all of our clams and he gives us clems. He then leaves the 8 others in the upcoming currency change. What a guy. I hop in the taxi and go to Deepwell. Upon arrival, we see Sweetheart yet again. It looks like her and Space Husband divorced in a day. Naturally, she is on her way to 3 sea witches who can aid in creating the perfect suitor for Sweetheart. Whatever, you do what you must, you sap. I have to find Basil. I approach the toll and he spins a wheel that decides my toll is 690 clams? Considering I gave all my clams away, I can't pay that. Fortunately, there is a northern path I can take to go around this bozo. More importantly, when are clams gonna take over? I know this was a future investment, but man, this thing's now. I come across this cave and the shady mole's here. Nice. I approach to talk with him and he just starts fighting me immediately. I suppose there are no clams and he just folded under zero pressure. I killed the mole and retrieved my clams. I can't believe it. How much betrayal can one guy take? I continue on and find Snally? Buddy, I thought low tier gods smited your ass. Glad to see you around. You want us to train you? Sure. We train Snally and he realizes battling is a little harder than anticipated. So then he goes on ahead. We enter and make our way through this evil cave and end up bypassing the toll. I head inside this yellow submarine and find Space ex-husband singing his blues to his crew. Times are truly tough. I head to the sea cow farm and they have a squizzard problem. The farmer offers clams in exchange for squizzard heads. I abide and kill one. He gives me 500 clams. Perhaps I will return to properly address this issue, but for now I must head forward. Actually, I probably should go to the fast travel. I almost forgot I should water Basil's plants. I do so and check on his place. Man, it's getting really bad. Shadow Basil's also here. We really have to find our boy. I head to the west side of Pinwheel Forest and free this mushroom guy. He gives me a dandelion and there is nothing of interest above him. With that, I go back to Deepwell. I cleared out this whole field of squizzards and it did nothing. I got 9,000 clams for my trouble, but I was mistaken in thinking this would settle the quest. As it turns out, it's just a repeatable side quest. Anyways, I move on. We meet Snally again and have a little bout. He shows that he has learned skills and follow-ups, but is ultimately no match, though I'm proud. He went from being a roadblock to a sweetheart contestant and now he travels the path of the warrior. Very respectable. I make my way through this little muscle maze and have my final battle with Snally. He's certainly gotten stronger, but I'm afraid even scripted sequences cannot save him from me. He defeats everyone but me, even though he had 0 health, and I finish him off like a final stroke of a plunger. With that, a warrior has passed away. Heading forward a few steps, I chill at the Mari picnic. Thank God, I've been wondering where I'd find this. We have a picnic and Mari tells me how at the top of this cliff is a bridge that leads to Deeper Well, and perhaps Basil is there. Well, we have no other leads, so might as well. Before that, I go back to the highway and collect the S letter key and look into a hole. Ah, yes, a red-eye version of me. Most excellent. We head across the bridge and have a scene where Hiro asks if anyone remembers what Basil looks like. They remember things about him and that they are friends, but not what he looks like. Aubrey and Kel both agree that Basil could be scared and alone, that he probably needs a big ol' hug, a rare moment where these two are able to get along and agree. Despite their fading memory, we'll still find him and continue onwards. Hey, a teleporter maze. Finally, something for an SMT fan to sink their teeth into. As we traverse this place, luckily any wrong paths are not wasted as they provide things with interesting dialogue. They spout philosophical ideas, refer to me as the dreamer, talk about the truth. Very cool stuff. Also, this teleporter maze? Easy. I was hoping for something with a bit more ball crushing, but that's okay. I find myself in this fish skull zone now. I wonder if this entire shindig here is the deeper well. Anyways, for now, we head up to the skull. Once we enter, we encounter Humphrey. The sea witches that Sweetheart spoke of earlier live inside this fellow's belly. Seems like there is a symbiotic relationship as they feed him in exchange for a place to stay. Pretty cool, but for now, we should look around Humphrey for clues regarding Basil. Seems Humphrey here is on some Majin Buu time. Thanks, I hate it. That aside, I reckon we'll go left first and see what we can see. I go to the left and am greeted by Molly. She built a bomb that requires 3 puzzles to be completed for it to be disarmed. She did this to prevent her sisters from bothering her. Very relatable. That said, I gotta figure this shit out. I go through the blue teleporter in hopes of finding a solution, and I see scientist Humphreys conducting various experiments. Teleportation, whatever this is, holograms, and nothing. The Humphrey's acting a fool in the second test is what will tell you the answer to the blue puzzle. You can also speak with this Humphrey and he gives you a hint. The solution here is to move in a counterclockwise motion hitting cardinal directions in this order: west, south, east, and then north. Next we got the red puzzle, so I went through the red teleporter. It's a mini teleporter maze, but you need to pay attention to the order of appearance with the color waterfalls in the background. Doing so will tell you the order to cut the wires in, which is blue, green, red, and white. Starting the final puzzle, I head into the green teleporter. Kel charms these conveyor bots since they are used to Molly, who is rude, and I get attacked by a watermelon mimic. I collect the V letter key and continue on. We come across this security footage and everyone is talking about how they wish they had a camera to take pictures of themselves. Kel kind of remembers, but it looks like my compatriots are forgetting our king. This is no good. We gotta find Basil fast. I keep moving and come across 4 Humphreys that when read left to right spells O-B-O-M. O-bomb. I head through the teleporter and see on the multiple choice that boom was supposed to be the word. Classic. With the bomb disarmed, a teleporter activates and I head through it. Here we find Sweetheart pestering Molly. Seems Molly made a robotic version of Sweetheart, but as you can see, it's not quite right. Very displeased with the results, Sweetheart storms off without paying and Molly chases after her. We go back to the center and head right this time and come across some more Humphreys. Apparently they can withstand the current of a waterfall. Well, not that one. With that, we decided we should wrangle up some bridge Humphreys so we can get across. I then have a picnic with Mari and continue on my way. I find a few Humphreys and then come into this library type place. We see a basil plant at the entrance. Kel and Aubrey mention how it reminds them of something, but they can't figure it out. I go through this next area and get the last 2 Humphreys. I now have a completed bridge and I walk across it. I enter another area and, as fate would have it, I need more Humphreys to form another bridge. Luckily, it's not too crazy. We have to go down this slide several times and knock the Humphreys into the pool below. Once all are accounted for, you have to go up to each one individually and request them to be a part of the bridge. Not anything super bad, but just a little annoying. Crossing the bridge, going down this ladder, and entering this door, we see Medusa and Sweetheart. Seems Medusa took a crack at making the perfect suitor for Sweetheart. I am unsure as to what it's made of. I assume slime, but it's a pretty damn good copy. However, as you'd expect, Sweetheart is none too pleased. She basically says it sucks ass and tells Medusa she's storming off. But Medusa has had enough and storms off first. After that, we can now do the last section and go to the top path. This place is a little creepy. Tons of Marina's experiments running about. She also tends to have some intense experiments as evidenced by the receptionist Humphrey. He tells us we have to wait in cages, and when the screaming stops, we know the next experiment begins. Yeesh! I continue along and Aubrey seems to be the main person to use here. We have to hit these Humphreys to make single Humphrey bridges. We eventually make our way through this little area and come across Shadow Basil standing over his flower crown. No one recognizes it at all. This is horrible. Cal even kicks it off the cliff, but Aubrey and Hero seem bothered by this. Man, this sucks. How could they forget our King Basil like this? I continue onwards and get chased by this evil cat thing that just kills you if it catches you. Fortunately, when we reach the end, it gets crushed by a hot dog. We enter the door and Marina is finalizing Sweetheart's perfect suitor. Of course, it's some mutant Frankenstein-esque version and Sweetheart hates it. So, she storms off. Marina follows her since Sweetheart still owes her money for this, but we now have the slimy keycard for the Humphrey elevator. I go back to the central area and go down the elevator. I notice my party all has 1 HP for whatever reason. I heal and go north. Here we see the final Sweetheart scene. She stiffs the 3 witches. The witches then corrects us on not being witches but scientists. Sweetheart tells them that we'd cover the bill and then she runs away. The witches use Humphrey and he disposes of Sweetheart. Seems she had 0 clams on her. Shit. With that, Humphrey mentions that he is still hungry, and now with a bill of 1 million clams and no one to pay it, The witches approach us for recompense. Humphrey seals the exit and they try grabbing Kel, but luckily he bites Marina and is let go. Looks like we're gonna have to fight our way out of this. They come forth and it begins. This fight could be a tough one. You really need to make sure you debuff them into hell on all of their stats, as this is exactly what they'll do to you. Keep up on healing and make sure you have party-wide healing because they will swap your juice and health. So long as you're mindful of what you're doing, these three will go down. They question how they would feed Humphrey now. Something tells me this is about to be our problem as well. The witches lament their inability to fight as they did 200 years ago, and then Humphrey interrupts. He's getting hungrier. The sisters then talk with one another about who is supposed to feed Humphrey their clams next. Unfortunately, Humphrey is not having it and he eats them. Naturally, we're next on the course if we don't stop him. We run back to the elevator Humphrey and then are surrounded by the little Humphreys. Seems there's no way out of this without a brawl. The Humphrey fight is an endurance test. His damage output isn't high, but his health pool is. As a result, it's very easy to allow yourself to get thrown into a sticky situation like I did. I managed to pull through, but that is only because I had so many healing items. I'd also like to mention that I hate Humphrey. He creeped me out since I first laid eyes on him, and especially meeting the weird sentient things he grows. His nigh omnipotence is disturbing, but fortunately he can be defeated. After winning, we are still in his body. We find his tonsil who talks shit for some reason, and thankfully it goes down the first attack. Hitting the tonsil causes this big fat asshole to spit us up through his blowhole along with 2 letter keys. He then goes to sleep and sinks under the water, leaving a vortex. Afterwards is a little scene where it's confirmed that our headspace friends have completely forgotten Basil. I pick up the 2 letter keys and then we have the phrase, "Welcome to Black Space." We get a cutscene and see Basil's floor cave in. That evil sketch thing and Shadow Basil appear there as well. Seems I have to go there after I interact with these holes. The North Hole shows us a scene of a man who says we are not his son while chopping down a tree with a noose on it. You don't think. As I return back to headspace, the other hole is gone. Shit! I have nowhere else to go but the vortex left by Humphrey. I end up in this pink water area where a mysterious voice tells me that every adventure always leads back here. To the truth. How it's inescapable and that Basil and Mari always evolve and lead us to the secret that Mari has taken to her grave. It continues and says all the quote friends that have died sink to Deepwell and how despite us discarding them, they still seek our care. We find out through the voice that Mari has a bad knee and we've condemned her to the picnic cloth. Despite this, her nature is to help and protect us, so she moves away from the picnic cloth anyways. As we move, we learn more about how Sunny is essentially in a cycle of using these daydreams to hide the truth, and every time his adventure ends, it leads back to the truth. A different key that leads to the same room, if you will. The voice asks us if we will continue the cycle or break it this time. The game then allows us the opportunity to continue exploring the world, or we can go to the point of no return. Since I'm pretty satisfied with what I've done up until now, it's time to go to Basil's house. As we make our way there, we get the explanations from the beginning of the game regarding the flowers. Unfortunately, these flowers are all dying and cannot be watered back to life. When we reach the tulips, Basil's description changes and he refers to us as Sunny here. As we head south to Basil's house, the tree path is longer and Mari isn't here anymore. The trees progressively get more barren as we draw near. As we stand before Basil's house, Aubrey says she's scared. I'd be too if my friend's house was suddenly engulfed by black thorns, black hands, blood red water, and was dilapidated on the inside over the course of a few days. We head inside and follow Shadow Basil. We fall into this black water and swim into the shore. We go up these stairs and just the melody of Mari's theme plays. As we go up, we encounter Mari in her coffin. She is surrounded by light and those egret orchids. Of course, when I interact with it, I get jump scared and shit myself. Fucking hell. Time to open this door. We are now in Black Space. Here there are a ton of doors and we should start going through them. This section really reminds me of Yume Nikki. That aside, the first door I head into shows Shadow Basil named a Stranger. Stranger says they can see who we really are down here and says that Headspace was made to protect this place. But Black Space has become too powerful. Essentially, we must get to the end of these short door sections to get a key for the next one. The first is full of broken things, the second is confusion, the third is nothingness, the fourth is a warped version of reality. In the warped reality, Stranger says on that day it happened, I became nothing and Basil was split in half. He wonders which was more painful. The sixth, we are in a strange forest with stumps all over and we are called a liar over and over. Finally we find something and it says I love you repeatedly. The seventh door brings us to a room where Muo is. I am told that he's been very bad and we are prompted to cut him open. Hell no. I stab myself and leave. The eighth door yields an odd place where we find Headspace Basil? Hey, what's up, man? He asks if we have been taking care of his flowers. Of course I have, man. You kidding me? He follows me and we end up in a dark area. I bet the key is in one of these watermelons. The ninth door brings us to a beach where the stranger says things can't go back to the way they were before, despite a part of him still clinging on to this. He then asks if there is any hope for us and disappears. I find all these pictures that get blackened, and then I swim with the fishes, finding the key. The 10th door, the evil red glowing door, is the final one. It brings me to this cold and lonely mountain. Making my way up, I find this church, and inside, Basil is being hung up by whatever this is. Stranger approaches and tells me that the truth is here, and that we could face it together. I approach Basil, and of course I want to save him. He's my boy. We then get transported to this red door, and Basil says it's calling for us. He then gets dragged away, and I go chase after him. Once I reach him, I stab him and walk over his dead body? What? I make my way up these arm stairs and sit on these hands. Are you serious? What is this? I woke up to reality. Seems I was stirring so much in my sleep that I fell on my bed. Kel is sleeping soundly, but where's Hiro? Heading down the stairs, I see a light coming from the piano room. I enter and find Mari playing the piano under a beautiful night sky. She apologizes for pushing Sunny too hard on the violin and for practicing too much, not spending enough time with him. She wanted the last recital they had to be perfect, but it never happened. She asks if we want to play with her, and then Hiro comes in. He apparently heard the piano too. He mentions how we must miss Mari a lot and that he misses her every single day. Hiro also says how he doesn't understand why Mari went out the way she did. He then tells us to head back upstairs and that he'll be right behind us. If we go back into the room, we see him sobbing over her piano. I then go to the backyard, and here we could see that something emerging from the stump. On my way back up, I noticed a door and approached it. Sunny says nothing is there. I check my mom's room and come back out. The door is gone. I go into the bathroom and look into the mirror, and it's great. I'm being haunted. Finally. I hop into the bed and go to sleep. I wake up to reality, and tomorrow is the big day. Hiro comes up to tell us he did all the chores Mom left behind and that he's prepared breakfast. I head downstairs and Kel is absolutely devouring a large city's worth of food. As this is happening, someone comes to the door and Kel goes to answer. Apparently it's Kim. He spits his eggs out all over her in shock. Hiro and I head over and Kim explains that Aubrey isn't answering anything. She shut herself in and Kim requests we do something. Kel is very against this, but Hiro reasons with him and thus decides that we will head over and Hiro will talk to her. After Kim leaves, we all go to Aubrey's. We knock on the door to no avail. Hiro mentions how they've never been inside of Aubrey's house. As he knocks, he notices the door is unlocked, so we enter. Oh my, trash dots every square inch of this place. No wonder we were never invited over. We climb up this ladder to the attic and find her. She is standing before some photos. Hiro talks with her and tries to hear her side of things. Of course, Kel and her immediately start arguing. While this happens, Hiro notices the missing pictures of Mari on the wall and quells the fight between Aubrey and Kel. He says the photos belong with the others and Aubrey says she threw them away. Kel then admits he dug through her trash for them. Hiro then takes the album where we put the pictures of Mari back into the photo album together. Of course, Mari's theme plays through this and you have a chance to look through the album after you place all the photos to read the descriptions. God, this is so sad. Reading through it all just has me on the precipice of tears. After we do that, Aubrey and Kel both apologize to one another for how they acted. Seeing how things were when they were friends must have sobered them up a bit. We then all come together and decide to check in on Basil. As we leave Aubrey's house, her entourage are all happy to see her and want to hang out immediately, but she states she must take care of something first and that they will hang out tomorrow. When we arrive at Basil's house, Polly informs us that Basil's grandma was rushed to the hospital and that he's visiting. Polly says Basil won't be back until the afternoon. With that, we gotta occupy our time. Might as well go back to my place. We arrive and Kel is the first to go outside in the backyard. Hiro seemed hesitant at first. I wonder why. Aubrey and Sunny are left and she asks him to do something, but Kel interrupts and yells for us. We go outside and everyone reminisces on the day that Mari died. They recall where they were and that Mari and Sunny were to have a recital that night. They say they don't understand why'd she do it. It seems Mari took her own life. Damn. Hiro, teary-eyed, asks if we can keep moving to the treehouse we came here for. We go inside and what do you know? It's the entrance to Headspace in the real world. Everyone looks back on the memories a bit and we find a photo of everyone at the treehouse. On the back it tells us about the toy box and has a key. We put the key in our pocket and place the photo back where it belongs. Aubrey and Hiro then mention how much they miss Mari and then Aubrey runs off. She went to the stump and placed a pinwheel in the center. She then explains that in the months following Mari's death, everyone drifted apart and thus she pushed them away. It made her angry how Kel made new friends through sports and that Hiro was too busy with studying. She felt the world had abandoned her and Mari. She also explains how she reached out to Basil and hung out over at his place. He was uneasy the entire time, and when he went to the bathroom, Aubrey saw the old photos and that he blacked them out with marker. She called him creepy and stole the photo album. This of course led to him being bullied further by her group. She calls herself scum for that and then admits that she cut everyone off afterwards. She reflects that this made her worse than Basil. She proceeds to break down. Kel and Hiro comfort her and they both reflect on how they could have done much better. After this, we have a big group hug and make our way back to Basil. Aubrey admits he needs us the most. On our way, we see Basil's grandma in the street. She then disappears? Oh no, I think she might have passed away. We arrive and Polly answers the door. She explains that Basil immediately went to his room and locked the door without saying a peep. Yeah, I think that confirms his grandmother's passing. Poor Basil. We go to his door and he's unresponsive. Aubrey even apologizes and still nothing. We all decided that we will stay here with him tonight. We've drifted apart before when we needed one another, but this time will be different. We head into the living room and hang out. Polly brings us quilts and we all begin to sleep. Everyone speaks about how we're here for one another and Basil. Kel also says that Mari's with us too. He then proceeds to fall asleep almost instantly. Too real, man. Hiro then says he is very appreciative of Sunny coming out of his house after all this time, and Aubrey requests that we visit every now and again. I suppose this is what she was trying to ask at Sunny's house before we went into the backyard. Hiro agrees with this idea, and Aubrey asks if her new friends can hang out too. Hiro agrees and everyone heads to sleep pretty happy. We get a cutscene in Awakened Whitespace, not as Omori, but as Sunny. I head north and then find Omori. There's nothing to do here except destroy this light bulb. Doing so brings us to the void where we have to fight all the variants of something. We must calm down, focus, and persist throughout. Eventually, we are faced with Mari's hanging body. After persisting and calming down, we can finally overcome. As we make our way down the road, we come across black and white photos of trees. Finally, we find Basil standing under a big tree. Basil says that the truth of that day would be hard to remember and to forgive him. He hands us a photo album and moves out of the way, allowing us to enter the tree. Inside is a warped version of Sunny's house. It has pictures of that day laying around. His mother also sits there lamenting the loss of her only daughter and how she cannot bear losing her only son too. After we collect the photos in this room, we come across a hospital room with more photos. After collecting the photos in this room, we then check on this person who isn't breathing anymore. Doing so would transport us to the top of our own stairs. We go down the stairs collecting photos here and there. Finally, we are then transported to our room, with what looks to be Mari laying in her bed, and the stranger is telling me it will be okay. As I continue collecting these photos, I now appear at this black stage. This time, for every photo I collect, a finger from my hand goes away, and I become bloodier and bloodier as I do so. Eventually, I make it to this area and collect more pictures, and this big eye follows me, transporting me into this room. I screwed in the light bulb and retrieved this photo. We head out the back door, and before I can open this gate, I have to put these photos in the album. I do this one at a time with the final memories of that day until I come upon the tree Mari was hung on. I then see the photos in order. Basil came in on Sunny and Mari arguing. At that time, Sunny pushed Mari away and she fell down the stairs. Unfortunately, her neck broke from the fall. Basil and Sunny freak out and take her body upstairs. After some time, they come up with an idea that haunts them and everybody else. They make it look like she hung herself. As it turns out, that evil sketch is the memory of what they saw after hanging Mari and seeing only her eye peering from her hair. We then awake to reality and go to Basil's door. We are then asked again if we want to save him. I say yes and see him standing there. Basil is tweaking. He cannot believe that Sunny would even accidentally kill Mari. He believes something was behind Sunny and that was what pushed Mari. Basil's inability to accept reality has led him to bear an unimaginable weight that has nearly crushed him. Sunny tries to leave, but he is stopped by Mari's sketch, and then Basil starts losing it even more. Basil doesn't believe that his best friend Sunny is capable of leaving him alone and thinks yet again something is spurring this on. This idea that Sunny couldn't do any harm and that Basil wouldn't want anyone thinking this leads me to believe that Basil came up with the idea of hanging Mari. He tries taking on the guilt of everything and the cracks have become craters. As a result, we fight each other. No calming, no focusing, no persisting. We have to fight. So we do. Eventually, Sunny becomes stressed out and even has his eye gouged out. Damn, Basil. Afterwards, we finally beat Basil and then we are in the middle of the road in our dreams. We follow Muo to our house and see Basil there. We talk with him and he tells us that he keeps burdening us and making things worse. How things have a way of coming out eventually. He then says that Aubrey, Kel, and Hiro are good friends and will understand. Afterwards, he tells me he'll be cheering me on and hugs me. He also tells me that he wants to make more memories with Sunny. I then head inside my house. I hear the piano and go inside. Mari is there. She tells Sunny that owning up to mistakes is tough and that she'll always be watching over him so long as he remembers her. I leave the room and there it is. The closet has finally appeared. I go inside and in the toy box is this broken violin with strands of Mari's hair and wrinkled sheet music with bloodstains. We leave the house and find ourselves on a long and empty rainy highway. Traversing it, we come across streetlights that take us to memories we saw in Basil's photo album. Once we're done with the memory, the violin mends itself bit by bit. In these memories, you are able to interact with everyone and get a little piece of that happy life shown to you. As you progress through the memories, the rain gets lighter and it finally starts snowing after the 5th memory. On the 6th, we see Christmas where Sunny got his violin. With this, the violin regained its shape. We continue down the highway and see Aubrey, Kel, and Hiro standing at this auditorium we entered. They tell Sunny how much they enjoy him and that it's okay. They let Sunny know that what happened with Mari doesn't make him a bad person. Hiro tells Sunny he knows he must have been living with this pain for so long, and then we are told we have to take the lead. We go to the stage and Aubrey tells Sunny that she believes in him. We play our part of the duet and Sunny breaks down in tears. We then enter Whitespace. We have our final confrontation with Omori. In this fight, we have to cherish our friends and use Allegro to defeat Omori. He will ultimately beat you, but hitting continue gives the option to play the violin. The cutscene that follows is Mari and Sunny growing up, meeting Hiro, Kel, Aubrey, and Basil. Of course it finishes with her passing. Sunny then hugs Omori and absorbs him, making Sunny whole. Sunny winds up in white space again and heads through this new door. We awake in the hospital and make our way to Basil's room. Kel, Aubrey, and Hiro are there. Sunny announces that he has something to tell them. Then the credits roll. Because I watered the flowers, after the credits, we see Basil wake up. He and Sunny look at one another, witnessing their somethings disappearing. Regardless of how the others may have reacted to the truth, it seems their guilt has finally lifted. And that is Omori. As you saw, I went through and got the secret ending, which is the same as the good ending. It just has that extra scene at the end between Sunny and Basil. Most of the other endings see to it that Sunny and Basil take their own lives. Had I not hit continue after being defeated by Omori, Sunny would have been taken over and thrown himself off of the roof of the hospital in a headspace delusion. In the other endings where you don't try to save Basil, we see Basil crushed under the weight of his guilt. You find Hiro, Aubrey, Kel, and Polly all lamenting over Basil's death. In all of the neutral endings, this will happen. Some will also see Sunny stab himself in reality. There's also the ending where Omori stabs himself in white space, which leads to Sunny having done the same in real life in his bed. The bad routes are really bad. Not only would Aubrey, Kel, and Hiro still believe Mari did that to herself, but now Basil and Sunny have as well. Imagine that. They were just reconnecting only for Basil and Sunny to take their own lives. I couldn't even fathom how that would feel, man. This game takes you through an emotional roller coaster. Like I said in the beginning, this game has charm, horror, depression, and damn good gameplay. The story handles the super serious subject matter with a sense of reality that is very respectable and eerily relatable. You can tell a lot of care went into that portion of the game. Having the serious stuff paired against the goofiness of headspace in some of the reality scenes makes it feel masterfully paced. Having depression injected the whole time would have sucked, and only having goofiness while tackling these kinds of subjects would have felt disrespectful. Omori, for me, definitely hits a Goldilocks zone with switching between those two tones. There were plenty of moments where I got chills and even teary-eyed when playing this. I deliberately made sure not to go super deep into character interactions and left that mostly vague. These moments are the things that bring this all together. Yeah, I know I went over the major stuff, but seriously, the dialogue and how they bounce off one another is what makes this story work so well. It gets you invested in these characters. Otherwise, the themes it tackles wouldn't mean jack since you wouldn't care about the people affected. Even if you have watched this video to the end, play it. It is an expertly crafted experience that can't be done justice from a video like this. I only made this because of how much I love this game. It stuck with me so much after I first played it, and I thought this would be an interesting game to tackle on this channel, especially with how narrative focused it is. With all of that out of the way, thanks for watching to the end. It really does mean a lot. If you can also like, subscribe, comment, and share, I'd appreciate that as well. That said, I'll see you in the next video. Goodbye.